I swear to God, that fucking cat. I love him, but goddamn. Who doesn't love football? Week 1 of the NFL in the books. It was great.
To the players, reality is one against one, move and counter move, helmet to helmet. Nowhere is this conflict more evident than at the fringe of battle where the receiver and cornerback match glares. Here, cunning and speed determine the victor. One-on-one, the battle where the loser bleeds alone on an open field.
Week 1 in the books, and I got a double victory. Panthers and the Chargers both won. That was nice. Good way to start the year. It wasn't dominant, but I'll take anything I can at this point. This is a weekend hangover, and people like to get through hangovers. So I'm going to get through these videos going forward. At the end of each weekend, I'll give it till Tuesday, Wednesday sometimes, and post my thoughts on the games. Give you a rundown and what I thought, what's going to go on, such as, the end of Karen Frogers and the Jaguars going to the SEC. I'm going to start the back half of the schedule, work my way backwards from the Monday night game. And this Monday night game is pretty damn epic. There's not many Monday nights that open, the way that opened. Anyways, the Raiders played host to the Ravens, and you never bet against the Raiders on Monday night. Are the Raiders for real? Fuck no. But it was an entertaining game. They're good for a couple of these a year. Are the Ravens that bad? Yeah. Outside of them not having running backs, they're falling off. Lamar Jackson's getting figured out. It was an entertaining game. I still don't think they make the playoffs. But David Carr, 435 yards passing. Could have had a lot more. First half, he played awful. Can we just talk about Peyton Manning and Eli Manning? I know I'm just late to the parade posting this in the afternoon when everybody else has had their takes in the morning. But, yeah, great chemistry. They've changed the way Monday Night Football should be. The guests were fun. It was different. It's the first time ESPN has done literally anything good in the last 20 years. But back in the game. I'm glad the Raiders won. Darren Waller's a beast. He should have had about 20 receptions, but Carr's not perfect. If Carr nailed everything, he would have went for like 600 yards. But either way, kudos to the Raiders. The Raiders. I really fucking hate having anxiety. The Sunday night game, the Rams played host to the Bears. And I was expecting the Bears to actually go out there and win. No, I was wrong. Agent Dalton, not there. I thought they played decently well, but the Rams are something else with Stafford. It's early. We'll see. I still think the Niners have something for them in that division. But Stafford might be the difference maker. They can stay healthy down the stretch. This was a very impressive game and a show-off from them. We got to see some Justin Fields. But you can't run 2 quarterback systems in the NFL. I see some teams trying to do that this year, and no, you got to stick with one. So, good job for the Rams. Bears, they'll get their shit together. They're still in that division. So, next game is the Packers and the Saints. Nobody saw that coming, except for me, because I've been calling famous Jameis MVP candidate since since Bruce retired. So, it was me calling that. Fuck the Packers. Packers suck. They're done. Karen Frogers. You can't beat the Saints in Jacksonville. The Saints are an indoor team. You go to warm weather. Seriously. The Saints defense is Winston only threw for 150 yards with 5 touchdowns. Can we finally admit that Drew Brees was a product of the system? So is Teddy Bridgewater. All of them. System. But now they got somebody who can throw to the top. Drew Brees wouldn't have made it on any other NFL team for as long as he did, except the Saints. The little fucking hitch routes, dink and dunks. What held them back for so long is they can't throw the deep ball. Now they got Jameis. Jameis just has to play smart football. The dude's not an idiot. But, he's national champion, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback from an era where Florida State was worth the shit. I hate the Saints, But honestly, because Jameis is there, I kind of want to pull for him. I didn't really pull for him in Tampa. I just wanted to prove people wrong. But again, if he's proven it wrong and he's a product of the system, it'll just fake the media out and it'll be great. Anyways, I do want to add one thing from last year. The Saints played the Bucs on the opening day. This came up in the Facebook memories. Saints played the Bucs on the opening day, and Brady looked lost. You see how that turned out. The Saints always have this weird thing at the beginning of the year, like at the first game. Either they lose to somebody they shouldn't, or they do shit like this and beat somebody who ends up going to the fucking Super Bowl. But the Packers ain't going to go to the Super Bowl playing like that, especially with Rodgers' ass. It ain't happening. Yeah, the Broncos and the Giants. Speaking of Bridgewater, don't fall for it. Just don't fall for it. Do not fall for Teddy. Melvin Gordon had 100 yards running. It was a well-coached game against a team that's a bottom dweller, and they're basically going to get the reboot next year. The Giants are awful. I mean, I want to see them do well. Rip Jeff Duke. Huge Giants fan. I want to see the Giants do well. I've never had a quarrel with them. But this team is a joke, and I think they're somewhere else. They're not competitive. Broncos aren't competitive either. They've got a stellar defense, but they matched up against a team that's got no identity. I don't know if Saquon even played. If he did he get hurt? He's probably still hurt. The other two late games we had, Dolphins, Patriots, Browns, Chiefs. Dolphins, Patriots is actually pretty good. Mac Jones made a impact, 281 yards, a touchdown, 29 to 30 throwing. Damian Harris somehow ended up with 100 yards on the defense. And Tua was meh for the Dolphins. Dolphins are going to depend on that defense all year. Timely scoring. Parker with 4 receptions, 81 yards. It was a good game. Patriots got a long way to go with that offense with him to start converting. There weren't a lot of deep throws. But it was a tough, hard-nosed football game. It was entertaining. So the Browns, Chiefs, well, Browns are going to Browns. It's like they start with the playbook wide open, all these gadgetry and all this other shit. They go up early, and they never can seem to close out their opponents. It all gets funneled down to where it's predictable in the fourth quarter. Baker takes a shit, and it's sad. I know it's the first game of the season. I called the Browns to win this. They should have. You can't let the Chiefs hang around. When you get the opportunity to score, you score. Got to put up points. Got to keep pressure up on Mahomes. They didn't do that in the fourth quarter either. They let him hang around, came back. They won by 4. Chubb had a solid day. Holmes, 3 touchdowns, 337 yards. 197 of that went to Tyreek Hill. But we got to get him figured out here at some point. I don't hate the Chiefs, but we'll see what happens against better defenses. Browns, I think they can figure it out by the end of the season. If the Browns get a home playoff game against Kansas City, I can see them pulling that off. But it's the Browns. We all know, I guess, what's going to happen in the end. The game nobody expected, the game that nobody wanted to watch, and my local affiliate tried to put ahead of the Panthers game. The Jaguars and Texans. Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, 3 touchdowns, 332 yards passing. That's mostly garbage time. Let's talk about Tyrod Taylor. Nobody expected that coming out of the gate. And you can't sit here and say that they don't need Deshaun Watson. Houston comes out and plays a tougher opponent this week. Not sure who it was, I'll check. But it's a much tougher opponent. Jaguars, their only other win might come against Houston later in the season when they're at home. Maybe they got it figured out. The other big news on all this is Urban Meyer's flipping his shit. He's already talks of him bolting to Southern Cal. And he does this. All you teams, Ohio State, all these you signed up for this. The guy just quits on everybody. quit on Florida, quit on Ohio State. He's not even going to make it to October. They'll either force him out or he'll just quit. He doesn't care. Jaguars are right now poised to join the SEC East, where there'll be bottom feeders there as well. Hopefully that franchise can get it together. That team was so close to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Should have won. And there's I think, was Calais Campbell still on the team? There's one player left from that team. That's sad. As you can see, the Panthers and the Chargers both took care of business. I'm not going to get overly ecstatic about it. The Panthers defense looked really good. 6 sacks. I also wouldn't judge Zach Wilson by his performance in that game. He's going to get better. But our defense was in his face all day. Front four is talented. Shaq Thompson had a day too with an interception, 10 tackles, all over the place. McCaffrey totaled almost 200 yards. I don't see how he didn't get 100 yards running. He was running for 6 yards a pop for most of the game. Darnold, solid, played it safe. I think he had his 5th best game passing ever. So good on him. Let's see Wilson and the Jets do good. Let them rebound next week with whoever the hell they're playing. Chargers and Herbert. This game seemed kind of boring, most notably for the Redskins. For the name redacted, Fitzpatrick went down, so they're stuck with Tyler Heineke. Nobody remembers him as the Panthers practice squad quarterback when Rivera was there when he ran out of options at quarterback in 2017. Yes, they should have beat Brady last year in the playoffs. I mean, nobody's got film on him, and he plays it safe, but he's accurate. He doesn't have a lot of arm strength. It's not going to carry them into the season. Just sign Cam Newton. Get it over with. That's another thing. Heineken, I mean, he doesn't. It's like Kyle, the other guy the Panthers had, Kyle Allen. He's not built for the NFL. Takes a couple hits, he's going to go down. It's only a matter of time that Cam Newton's a quarterback for Washington. But the Chargers, first win for Brandon Staley's head coach. Herbert had 300-something yards passing. Keenan Allen, 100 yards receiving. Washington's defense is still, it's their strong suit. So it was a good game to go across the country for an early game and come out with a win. Sea Chickens and Colts. Ugh. I had no idea when it's going to start. 0. I looked up. I was like, okay, well, they got a chance. And it got away quick. Sea Chickens played pretty lights out, also coming across the country for an early game to start the season. And I hate to admit it was a pretty impressive game. But I'm hoping the Colts are better than what they showed on Sunday. It is only the first game of the season. We're here for overreactions. So the Colts are looking like a 4-13 record at this point. The one game absolutely nobody was expecting. Cardinals destroy the Titans. And they tacked on those 13 points at the end because this wasn't even close. Thought they were coming back, but then the Cardinals piled it on. How does Chandler Jones have 5 sacks? Weren't the Titans supposed to be good? Didn't they add Julio Jones? And now motherfucker. Now Mike Vrabel. Now their coach, which I clearly can't pronounce his fucking name, is pointing fingers at players for that loss. I mean, that's dumb. Cardinals do this every year, though. They did it last year and the year before. Oh my God, Kyler Murray, MVP, all this shit. Kingsbury gets cutesy. They get figured out. They get the divisional play. Titans just weren't ready for this. It sucks. That was a home game. It'd be a little bit more understandable if they traveled to Arizona. That was a home game. The offense did nothing. Derrick Henry did nothing. It was really sad. 5 total touchdowns from Murray. Shrug. Right. 5 total touchdowns from Murray. We'll see if the Cardinals can keep this up or if it's a one and done. I mean, the payoff time for Kingsbury is now. The investment is there. You got to step up and get it done this year. But that division is too damn hard. I mean, at this point, based on how everybody in the NFC West played this weekend, they should all win at least 10 games. And then, 2 of them will miss the playoffs. That sucks. Now we get to my Super Bowl favorites, the Niners. And they clearly showed it against the Lions. Yeah, the Lions brought back in garbage time, and people thought, oh, they're coming back. They didn't have a chance to win that game at all. Deebo Samuel had almost 200 yards receiving. Deebo, Gamecock. Elijah Mitchell, 140 yards, running the ball as Mustard. As of today, he's done for the season. Fortunately, I took him to DraftKings. It really fucked me on Sunday. Jared Goff had 3 touchdowns, 300-something yards, but again, that was a lot of garbage time. But it was how perfect that Garoppolo played. He was accurate, put up the numbers, threw it deep when he had to. You guys talk all the shit you want. They've already been to the Super Bowl once. They're going to go back to the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's the Lions, whatever. They did what they had to. They were dominant. I think it was like 28-0 at one point. They were dominant. That's all there is to it. Niners made this shit look easy. Let them crawl back in at the end. They're just doing the right thing. And now we get to a game that I've been calling since first week of the preseason. The Bungles hosting the Vikings. And Jamar Chase realized he could see a football finally, NFL football, and not play the blame game. He only had 5 receptions, but he had the one big one. 101 yards receiving and a touchdown. That was huge for them. Mixon actually showed up for fantasy people. He's such a non-guarantee. Every time you draft your fantasy team, you sit there, look at the list, you look at the matchup, and you're like, oh, this is good. Mixon will get it done. And then he just does nothing. Doesn't do shit. I don't trust him. But if you're fortunate to start him this week, he went off. 127 yards rushing. Kirk Cousins, I guess Thielen had a great day. I had him on my fantasy team, great day. But the Vikings, I knew going in, and they were going to find a way to lose this. I thought here in overtime, I'm like, they're going to tie. And they almost did it. Because that's what the Bungles fucking do. They tie people. But good on them. Good on Joe Burrow. Nice to see them get the job done. They won't win in their game for a while. But, hey, get that first one out of the way. And people in the seats. There you go. Now, y'all know I hate Shinsburg. But there was something about this game. They earned it. I mean, I'll give respect where respect's due. Granted, the Bills were up 10-0 at halftime. But Josh Allen just looked off. Somebody pointed out, and it's true, that the lack of a running game, they draft somebody, but the lack of a running game for the Bills is probably going to catch up to them this year. I was afraid of the sophomore slump for Allen, which it's his 3rd year. But, he had such a high year last year coming off of that. Didn't know if they get back up. Yes, it's the first game of the season. Steelers showed up to play. Can they carry that through the entire season? They don't have an easy schedule like they had for the first 11 weeks of last year. I will give them credit. They played good. It was a good fucking game. And hopefully they just fall off after this and the Bills recover. Bills get the Dolphins this week. That's going to be a game. Bills start 0-2. A little bit of early panic needs to start settling in. Because at that point, look at the Dolphins at 2-0. And then, if the Patriots rebound, they're 1-1. The Jets they could be looking at last place. So, Bills need to figure their shit out. Hopefully they can this week. It's the Steelers again. Good job. Good game. Is what it is. Fuck Shitsburg. The game I knew that was a foregone conclusion was the Eagles. Going into Atlanta, I wasn't expecting that complete, domination from the Eagles team that really didn't have like that main. It was just a group of guys that excel in the system. Jalen Hurts showed off, connecting with former Bama standout, the old Bama crew, Devontae Smith, who is still small, but I knew going in they were going to win this game. Just not like this. How the fuck do you draft a tight end in the top 10 that is a generational talent and you throw him the ball once? How many people took him on DraftKings this week? That's why you don't do that shit. Matt Ryan is washed up. Oh, the line sucks. It's still him too. You can have all day. They'd find a way to blow the game. They just got blew out. The Falcons are fucking done. Week 1, done. And now everybody's forgotten about the Thursday night game. Dallas and Tampa. Yeah, it took that camera shot of Brady staring at the ground to know that it was over. When Brady only needs 3, he's going to get 3. I mean, he can get the ball 40 yards and get into field goal range to make it happen. Now, if he's got to make a play in the red zone, that's a difference. That's a completely different story. But kudos to Dallas. 400 yards passing for Dak Prescott. As you can see, they had no running game. This is what Dallas does. Zeke, 33 yards. And people wonder why I passed on him in fantasy. Because he does that shit. That shit. Oh, well, I didn't take him instead of taking fucking Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Because he runs for 11 carries on 33 yards and doesn't do a damn thing. So, the Cowboys defense still isn't there. Collinsworth jinxed Dallas towards the end of the game when he made a comment about Mike McCarthy pulling something off. And then Brady. I'm so glad football's back. I finally have something to live for again. Autumn is coming. College football season's over, though. Florida State got destroyed by Jacksonville State, and I was laying in bed. It was awful. Bama's got college wrapped up. I could do a whole college thing, but I won't. Anyways, every Tuesday, I'll try to do the wrap-up. On Fridays, I'll go in and do a preview. We'll do a preview right quick of the Thursday night game, and I'll simply call it, is it fucking watchable? The answer is no. Giants at Washington. Daniel Jones against Taylor, Heineken, Kyle Allen. Just fucking sign Cam Newton.